today. But he's back from a cruise.
Cool.
And if not, then we'll just get going and see if anybody downloads it. I haven't even looked at the analytics on these. Plus being out of town. And then, it was horrible. I got to the park. So we did Lou's thing Saturday night. And then Sunday, my kid and I went to Magic Kingdom. And I got there and I had a slow SD card. It wouldn't work. Curses. And we were there. The whole point of my video for the day was going to be going when it's a Christmas party, right? And see how much you could get done, which by the way, we got everything done, didn't pay a dime for any Genie Plus.
Cool.
And so the camera wouldn't work. I went to all the stores. They don't sell SD cards in the park. Pro tip. Then they said, oh, check over at the hotel. So I let Camille or August go run wild in the park. I went over to Contemporary. Nope. They don't sell them anywhere on property anymore. Oh. So I come back and I was trying to shoot the thing on my phone and it's horrible. I edited it today. I don't even know if I'm gonna put it out there.
It was like my trip. I tried to do it on my phone with no gimbal and it was shaky and audio was in and out and I was like, delete. I'm not even gonna attempt to.
It's bad. I might just put it out there for tomorrow just to show that, I mean, this is life, man. That's what happens.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's 3 people watching, so that's kind of cool. Yeah. I'm impressed anybody comes. So I'm going to kind of push the record button, as Jeff C says often, and we'll start the podcast officially, which is something I forgot to do last week.
All right.
So, hey, thanks and welcome to the But Mostly Disney podcast. Thanks for coming. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Caleb, good to see you. Always, and happy Halloween. That's right. It's Halloween. With you is my gracious co-host, Andrew from Mouse Gears.
Hey, what's going on?
And so we won't take too much of your trick-or-treating time, or, I guess it's getting towards trick time now. I guess the treating is over or getting close. I don't know. I'm an Eastern Coast fan, so I didn't really use a whole sentence there. I'm on East Coast time, so it's 7:30, obviously here, and wherever you're watching, it might be a different time. Tonight, I thought I might run through. I know Andrew just ate at. I'm surprising Andrew with this at Summer House, and we did too for the first time, so we could talk about that real quickly. I just got back from Disney, and we can maybe run through that and how the trip was. Spoiler, it was amazing. And talk about a little bit about Lou Mongello from WW Radio. If you want to listen to a real podcast, I'd go there. Not that we aren't real. I mean, we exist. Laws of physics still apply. But if you want to hear a good podcast, he does an awesome job. But not, hang around. And then we're going to go through our top 5 reasons we keep going back. And because we go a couple times a year, and why it's always the same. So I just got back. Andrew, you were there, what, 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago, yeah. We went down for Thursday through Sunday.
So we just ships passing in the night.
Yes, sir. We
just missed each other. And I went down specifically for Lou Mongello and Becky Minkin from MEI Mouse Fan Travel. They had an event called at the Tip Top Club, which if you don't know what is, it was at the top of the I keep saying Haunted Mansion, Tower of Terror. And so Lou had a great event. We went down and he had transformed the Disney Junior area into this, and it was just spectacular. So that was really the purpose of our visit. So we got there Friday and had dinner at Disney Springs at Summer House, which, Andrew, tell us about your experience there.
We got there on Thursday. That was our first dinner for the time we were there. It wasn't bad. The decor was great. We walked in, they asked us if we'd been there before. Of course we hadn't. So they're like, hey, it's themed after Southern California, beachy, LA, that kind of stuff like that. Very comfortable, inviting area. We sat outside. We could see Saratoga Springs and the airfoil balloon, and it was a sunset, so it was great. We enjoyed that part. The service was a little off. Our waitress came by maybe twice. I think she had some tables inside as well, so she was a little overwhelmed. I think food was decent. I think since COVID, there's been a lot of change with food in the at Disney. It's kind of spotty in some areas, but the menu, good lord, it was huge. It had flatbreads and pizzas and salads and wagyu steak, and it was a pretty extensive menu. I remember my
Did you
wife
eat the Wagyu steak?
yes, I got the wagyu steak. It came with wagyu steak and frites, fries, so it was a little different. Had like a peppercorn sauce on it. It wasn't bad. Um, my youngest got, I think it was chicken tenders and fries. My wife got I think it was shrimp tacos, and my oldest got the salmon, and they shared. They said theirs was good. Um, I think the steak would have been better if it didn't have the sauce on it, but it's wagyu. It really don't need much. Um, but would I go back again? If I have done everything else in Disney Springs, I would go. I would go again. But there's so much other things that we want to try that I wouldn't go back right away. I would unless I really had to. But it was expensive. It was. I really don't remember how much it was, but it was kind of a little bit of sticker shock when we got the bill. But it is what it is. What you pay in Disney nowadays, so it's not that bad. But if somebody said, "Hey, let's go there," or Boathouse or Paddlefish, I'd probably try the other two first.
Have you been to Boathouse?
Yes.
You've been to Boathouse.
Yeah.
And that's the hard thing, maybe would have been a good segue into why we keep going back. There's still a lot of restaurants at Disney Springs I haven't tried. Because when I go, I love the ribs at Morimoto. I love the sliders at Boathouse, so we end up going to the same things. Now we had a good experience at Summer House. We sat inside, which I was a little disappointed about because Andrew had already told me how great the outside was, but it was bright and open and airy. And we had my kid's vegan. And fortunately, Disney is always friendly, at least one item on there that'll work for him. And so we had, I ordered these cheesy dream puffs because of the name, and they were awesome with like a honey butter. And then we got an artichoke heart, which they couldn't have the aioli dip, but I could, and it was really, really good. And I haven't eaten an artichoke like that in a long time. We used to steam them ourselves. They had like a pizza flatbread with no cheese, obviously, and I tasted it. It was awesome. I mean, it really was good. But I like meat, and by then we were actually kind of getting full. So I had these little tuna tostados and tuna and watermelon tostados, and they were really good. So we ate kind of light. I took a few of those biscuits home, and I thought it was pretty good. I don't remember what we paid, but the next day we went to Cake Bake Shop, and it doesn't matter because that's ridiculously expensive.
We did get the they were different. They were potato. I think I remember potato salad deviled eggs. I think was.
Oh yeah,
they were good. They were different, a little good texture difference, but they were good. We got that and the cheesy puffs. I think the cheesy puffs. One all I can think about was Carmen cheesy puffs.
Right.
But no, the appetizers were good. I think I would have picked something different. I looked at the tostados, and I think there was also a chicken dish or something, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it wasn't bad.
So, yeah, I liked it. I'll go back. I mean, so we're kind of doing it different. Disney this year going in phases. So I've kind of each kid's gone a little bit individually. So at some point in time, we'll have to take. I know my wife would love the place. And again, our service was really good. The next day we went to Cake Bake Factory before Lou's event, and that restaurant is almost flawless. I looked, and I've got a video review up on. So head over to my YouTube channel, subscribe, like, share. But I did a video review, and I mean, I think I said in there breathtaking. I mean, I don't use that word very often. It was perfect, except for the price. I mean, it's really expensive. It was $90 for the kid and I to have lunch, and we had I had a po' boy. They fly the bread in every 3 days from New Orleans, from Gambino's, which my wife is from Louisiana, and her mom grew up in Lake Charles, and right now she has a Gambino's the king cake in her freezer. So we had a great meal. Then we went over to the bakery and got a piece of cake and a glass of milk, and it was all awesome. I think the restaurant is better than the cake shop for me. The cake was really, really good, and it was $24, and you could probably feed 3 people on it. It would be fine.
Yeah,
But that's a lot of money.
piece of cake.
Yeah, but really, for me, it's a 2-person piece of cake. For some people, it might be a 3-person piece of cake. But it was great, and I think it'll be fine. I mean, Victoria Alberts is there. It's ridiculously expensive. But I saw, like, it was weird too. There was an annual pass holder group that looks like it's disappeared off Facebook.
Yeah,
Because when I
don't see it on there anymore either.
Okay, so it's not just me.
Yeah, no.
If you're out there and you hear this, what happened? But the Vitterol Ford cake bake was bad. I mean, there was one person who said, "I've never wanted a business to go out of business more than my life." And I'm like, why? This lady's had a tough life. She's worked hard. She's built this restaurant. I mean, I think it was very fresh ingredients. I mean, it was a perfect po' boy sandwich. Perfect. Dozen shrimp. I mean, it was a lot of money, but it might be a once every 5-year kind of thing or anniversary, you know. Sure. It's like Takumi Te. I went there and I want to go back so badly, but it's so expensive.
Yeah, we're thinking about that in March. Just my wife and I was looking today at what to go to. I was like Takumi Te, or even the not the shoot. I think is it Narcoosee? Yeah, Narcoosee.
Yeah.
And then there was another Jico at Animal Kingdom. I'm trying to figure out which one to.
So Jico is great. Is Narcoossee's the one on the water? Yes. Yeah, also great. I haven't been to Citricoast yet, and my buddy keeps telling me that's spectacular. Takumi Te is in it. It's in a world by itself. Like it's not even a meal. Like there are 4 meals in my life that I can still taste. And 3 of them were at Disney, which was Victoria and Albert's, Takumi Te, and then for my oldest, for their graduation, we went on a cruise on the Wish and did Ashante, and they left and they were like, "I think you broke my taste buds." I mean, it was phenomenal. So I highly recommend the Takumi Te. But I mean, do I have plans to go back? No. Do I dream of going back? Oh yes, every night when I say my prayers. So then, so Saturday night we went to the Tip Top Club event, and it was just so cool. They had dancing. This band, I think, will be at Jollywood. I think they're called the Stray Cats, and I'll be down there on Saturday night, a week from this Saturday. We'll be back down. So first time I've ever been to anything on opening night, but we got dressed up. I felt a little awkward. I'm not really much of a costume person, but it worked out. It was cool. Everyone was dressed up. We met outside Hollywood, and then that's a little fuzzy. And then we marched down Hollywood Boulevard, and I was wondering where we were going, but it was really cool. People were stopping and taking pictures and what's going on. Look, so we got happy, sad, happy, gangster. So we had a great night. It was a really fun event. Lou and Becky just did a great job. It was awesome. And I think some of their money goes to Make-A-Wish, which is awesome.
Yes, it is.
Always. So it's really, really cool. And that was just a great, I mean, it was unbelievable. The food was some of the best banquet food I've had. Like the prime rib was delicious. And even during the middle of it, right as I sat down to eat, the fire alarm goes off. There was a fire in the Brown Derby kitchen, and they had to evacuate us. And poor Lou's got his heads in his hands like this. I'm like, Lou, this is what makes it fun. Everybody's having a good time.
Yeah.
Not one person was upset in any way. Which I think will lead us into our actual, hopefully, sort of loose topic for tonight, which is why we keep going back. I mean, I think about that. Like I sit down every day and I watch some Disney videos all day. I listen to Disney podcasts. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Here's one for you. And then a buddy of mine, Mike Durungalo, he's a carpenter, I guess. He does finishing trim work. And he's like, why? Why do you keep going back? What's the reason? So I felt like I kind of needed an elevator pitch because a lot of folks ask that. It's expensive.
Same questions at work every year. Every time we go, it's 2 or 3 times a year. Why do y'all keep going back down there? I said, you have to go to figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. And you're either going to, what was it? Was it you that said that one time, a long time ago? If you know, you don't need an explanation. And if you don't know, no explanation will ever do.
Right. Yeah. No, that. Yeah.
You said that a long time ago in a group call.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was really cool. And it stuck with me ever since because it's true. Because I don't argue for Disney. Like if someone tells me they hate Disney, they think it's a big, money grab. They're right. I get it. I don't mind. One less person in the park, frankly. But why do we go? I mean, August and I, we were walking around and we went into World of Disney 2 times. Why? It's that now, as it turns out, they put the Christmas stuff up, but it's the same stuff that we saw at Hollywood, at Epcot. It's not like they really have too much location specific product anymore.
No, they don't.
Sometimes I think the Polynesian and the Contemporary have a couple things that other places don't have, but it's the same junk, and I love looking at it. Why? We will look at the same stuff. So when we go, typically in the summer, we go 5 days, and all 5 days we're looking at the same stores, having a great time, picking the same things up. Do we want this? Do I not want this? It's really odd. So I've got 5 that are important to me, but I figure we might overlap. So I've got a couple others just to throw in. So why don't you go first?
So my wife and I were texting back and forth today because I was asking her, why do we go? And you think about it all the time. And one of the biggest things that sticks out to me is the Disney bubble. Is when you get there, I don't have to worry about work. She doesn't worry about work. We're there with our kids. I park my car, either I valet it or I park it myself. And I'm on their transportation. I'm on Disney time. If we want an ice cream bar for breakfast, we're gonna have ice cream bar for breakfast. It's whatever we want to do. It's just no responsibilities to check email for work every now and then, but that's the extent of it. It's a way of life almost. It's just, hey, how many times we're going, we're planning it, we get there, and it's just you don't even know you're in Florida. That's the best part.
I posted a picture, I think today, from the boardwalk looking over at Yacht and Beach. And it's just hard to believe that this is tucked away in Atlanta. I mean, in the middle of Orlando, in a theme park. Yeah. And I had that, I think the same sentiment under escapism is that's what it is, man. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to do things. I don't, my job does not define me, right? I love what I do. I get out of bed happy, but really I'm just going from, thing to thing to thing. I'm going from Disney to Christmas to vacation. I have these goals out in front of me, 6 months, 4 months, a year. And that's what I'm shooting for, because once I get there, and Disney is the top of the pyramid of just, it's not the real world. And for a few days or hours or whatever, you can live where most people are a little nicer, just most of them.
Most of them.
Just a little bit.
It's like my wife tells people, they talk about going to Disney. She goes, I work for Disney. She goes, he pays the bills and we use my money to go to Disney. And it's just, like I said, either you like it or you don't like it. It's your thing or it's not your thing. And you'd be surprised how many people it is their thing.
Ollie's in the chat. Cheese, a little extra cheese sauce. Ollie's one of my son's friends. He went to Disney with us in July, and we had a really, really good time. But we had a lot of cheese sauce. Yeah, so it's a place to escape. It's clean. The light bulbs all work. That's one of the things I do is look. Like I really want my job in retirement to be finding light bulbs out at Disney, and then I can just kind of radio in. We need a T41 on Main Street. And someone would come parachute it down and I could replace it. So it is, you're exactly right. It's absolutely an escape. All right. So I didn't really do these in any order, but I'm going to say nostalgia is what keeps me bringing back. There's a feeling that I get that reminds me a little bit of my childhood when Tomorrowland really was kind of the future, when Epcot was really, teaching us some new things. And I know it's straight off that a little bit, but we raised our kids there. We started when they were 1. We had them in a triple stroller. People felt sorry for us. They would buy us Mickey bars. Like, we're so sorry. No, just whatever you need to do. Just, we're so proud of you for surviving. And it's something that none of us really did before. So it was something that was truly created by our family, for our family. And my kids and people will ask, oh, aren't your kids too old to go? I'm like, I don't know. Ask them, because, they're a little distraught this year that I've done it differently, because with the channel, I'm trying to maximize my time of year when I'm there, and they don't always love the filming because it's our vacation. But, some of them are getting to go a little different times, a little more individual attention. But yeah, this is where I credit Disney for my kids staying kids longer. I don't think they grew up as fast as some of their friends, that we are still a tight-knit family because Walt built a place for families to enjoy. That was the whole point. The merry-go-round, he didn't want to ride. He wanted something where everybody could have fun.
Yeah.
So, I've been by myself. It feels awkward. Even with our family not completely together, 2 or 3 of us, it feels weird. Like we sit down for dinner and I'm waiting for the other kid to run up. But this is something we've done every year, and it's tradition, and that nostalgia for my kids being young and watching them at every phase grow up is another reason I want to go and put my feet in that place.
Yeah, that's awesome, because I have a lot of the same feelings. I didn't get to go until I was in high school. I didn't go till a grad night, and after I went that grad night, I was like, okay, I want to come back for more, because Hollywood Studios wasn't open but for a couple of years, and Magic Kingdom still had trees everywhere. They hadn't taken them all down yet, and I just fell in love with the place. And then when my wife and I got married, she had a daughter, and we decided what we did for a honeymoon. Let's have a family moon and go to Disney World. And she didn't know she was going. Some of our friends brought her up. She thought she was going to Hard Rock Park Hotel, and they met us there, and she had a ball. And I remember her riding Tower of Terror for the first time, thinking it only dropped once. And she got off going, it dropped more than one time. I still remember that. My youngest was, and she's 24 now, and she still goes with us. My youngest, who was 10, she started going, she was 2.5. And I didn't think she would remember much. And she remembers the Maleficent dragon from her first trip. And every time we go, she leads the pack on what we're doing. And her and her sister hold hands and walk down Main Street, and Daddy starts crying.
That's right.
And it's just that nostalgia. And I love old Disney videos. I watch them on YouTube all the time. I look up I'll take pictures of the windows and figure out who these people are and why they got a window. And it's just, listen to Lou about the actual magic shop that used to be there. And
right.
People that went in the 70s. I have a friend of mine, it's my boss. He went opening day, and he told me all about opening day. And
wow.
They went every year after that. And I just like that part, and like still seeing Walt in the parks in different areas.
I do too. I'm excited. I realized after, actually Becky Menken brought it up, and she's right. Like when they do the hologram of Walt, what will he say?
Yes.
Like I probably would be okay with him just regurgitating things I've already heard just to see it in person, or the animatronic. Sorry, but they had a hologram at the 100-year Disney thing.
Philadelphia Center.
Yeah, which was really neat. But I think I'd be okay just watching Walt talk.
Yeah,
because
I got teary-eyed sitting next to him at Epcot.
Right.
And my daughter's like, "Are you crying?" I was like, "No, I'm not crying."
No. And look, and here's the thing. So like, I don't watch sports, right? And my daughter's actually working on a cartoon. Both my kids are unbelievable artists. Neither one want to work for Disney. Makes me sad. Famous engineering program. He's applying for the summer college program, so we'll see how that works out. But I played football in high school, but I'm not really an athlete. I don't watch sports. I love golf. I live for golf. I don't watch golf. I don't watch any sports. But it's funny. My buddy Mike, who's the one who's kind of the genesis for this podcast, he's a huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and I'm looking at him, and he's in all this gear. You pay to go to the ticket. If they went to the Super Bowl, you'd pay a price to go that. What's the difference? What's really the difference is if I wear a Mickey shirt, I'm going somewhere where I can play with my toys, right? I'll be on the field at Disney. You're never going to play for the Steelers.
No.
Which isn't fair, but that's kind of how I feel about it. I could have definitely have a Sunday habit that my wife hated. Instead, I get to drag her down somewhere she likes.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing. So one of the things I thought of, we've been talking about it tonight already, trying something new. Every time I go down, it's either a new hotel or
That was
new
my next one.
restaurant. It's always something. There's so much like I said, been going down since the '90s, and I know I haven't seen and done everything. Will I ever? No. Maybe Lou is the only person that's ever done everything. Who knows?
Well, I mean, but even his podcast this week was on Cooks, and he'd never been in there.
Yeah. Yep. But it's just,
And the great thing is they keep adding stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, it's sad that things get taken away, but then there's something new I haven't done, and there's a reason to go.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't stayed at all the hotels yet, which is a goal of mine.
Yeah.
I've got a buddy that will get me into Shades of Green, so I can go stay there because I didn't serve our country. Would like to, but didn't. And so, I'll get to stay there. I think I haven't stayed at Boardwalk, a couple of the sports.
Boardwalk.
Huh?
I stayed there. It doesn't have that Disney feel. Because there's nothing tying it to anything. So like the beach club, you have Cape May, and they always have characters all around, and you can walk to the theme parks from the boardwalk, but there's nothing really tying it to Disney. The first time we took my youngest the third time we took her, we stayed there, and she liked the big grass playing area, but there really was nothing that tied it to Disney.
Did they get rid of that clown pool?
Yes, they did. She was terrified of that thing.
Scary.
Now they have some stuff there. They've got like the Fab Five that's in the cartoon version from Runaway Railway.
Oh yeah,
they're on there like going down the slides and everything.
Okay,
and they finally got rid of the clown pool. But
yeah, I like the area, so we'll do it one time. I think actually we had reservations there, so we were there the day it opened after COVID, and it wasn't really on purpose. It just happened to work out that way. And so we'd had reservations for the boardwalk. It wasn't open, so they put us at the Contemporary. So I can't complain about that. But there's a couple hotels. I want to stay in that Destino Tower. I haven't done that yet. So there's a couple places. There's tons of restaurants I haven't hit yet. We did go try the new menu at Pecos Bills. It was good. It was fine. I didn't think it was bad before, but it was okay. So there's always something new, some new ride. We got $60 billion in additions coming, in the next 4 or 5 years. So even though it does seem like it's always under construction, who cares? I love it. I'm with you. There's always something new that we haven't done. And that's kind of part of our planning, right? Is sitting down and looking at a map or looking at a list and going, where haven't we stayed? What haven't we done?
Yeah. We always try to pick one or two things to try new every time.
Yep. We have a couple, like if we're having 10 meals, then 4 of them are standards, and then we're going to try to do something new each other time,
Yes, sir.
That was my next one though. No, it's good. Well, then I will, this one's kind of abstract, but I'm going to say consistency. And here's what I mean with that. It's kind of a go with me. But when we go out to dinner here, there's only a couple places we go out. And the reason is we don't go out very often. And I've just been disappointed by a lot of new things. And as prices go up, and we're a family of 5, even though a couple are in college, it's expensive. And so I want to make sure my money's well spent. I've never regretted spending money at Disney. I have had a consistently good time there for 18 years. Have things gone wrong? Yes. Have I been angry? Yes. Angry enough to do a podcast about it? No. I still love Disney. I still have a good time. And Andrew and I have talked. I try to keep that off the record. I mean, every once in a while, Communicore Hall, I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
That was terrible. I don't know what they were thinking. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. I still am going to be, again, not to just keep talking about Lou, go see his podcast. But I mean, that choose the good mentality. Things go wrong in my regular life a lot more frequently than they do at Disney. And so over these 18 years and all the money I've spent and everything I've done, good and bad, is consistently added value and happiness to my life. And I can't say that about a lot of other places.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, I try to keep that mentality too of choosing the good, and even when I'm down there, like the shirt I wore down there, be nice to cast members because they make your vacation, and that's part of the consistency. Is I know I can go down there and um, somebody's gonna, hey sir, how you doing? Hey princess, to my daughter. I will tell you, and I brought that up before that didn't happen a couple times, and she brought it up, and it bothered her, but I know I can go down there and always have a good time. Now, my wife will tell me, there's other things in the world like cruising and going to the mountains, and I'll do that, when they want to go do it. But for us consistency and know I get down there, I'm gonna have a good time. I have friends that say that about going on cruises, not Disney cruises, just like Royal Caribbean cruises. They go all the time, and that's their thing, and they're consistent with it. But
and I don't understand that. Like I went on a Disney cruise. I had a great time. I have zero complaints. And I'm not really rushing to get back.
Yeah.
Like for the money, I'd rather just go to the parks.
Yeah.
Now that may change for me, but that's how I feel. And we missed a couple of Alohas at Polynesian, and it was noticeable. They create that magic, and once you do, that's why I try to run at 80% in my life. Because if I do 90%, people are going to ask me for more. So 80, then I can kick it up when I have to. But
right, yeah, I get it.
But no,
they realize when they set that precedent, they set that bar so high, and then they start ticking it back down. People like us notice it, but people that go every 4 or 5 years, they don't notice it as much as we do. So that's why I think for her, that whole princess part of it, she caught on it quick. But a little girl coming from Idaho every 5 years may not pick up on it.
Well, it's those little things that are almost subconscious that land on us. And that's the kind of thing that keeps us coming back, right?
Mm-hmm.
That when I walked into the Contemporary for the first time, my wife, we were broke. We were staying off property. My wife got me one night for my 40th birthday. So 13 years ago. And when I walked in, I felt like a movie star. I felt like Cary Grant from the moment I drove under that portico to the moment I left. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And a quick shout out that to save money when I go down frequently, we've been staying at the Wyndham at Disney Springs, and their front of house staff is spectacular. I mean, they are Disney level customer service. They do a great job.
Yeah, no, we stayed at Grand Floridian, just my wife and I one time, and we pulled it into Porter Share, and I think there was 5 people opening doors and trunks, and we got out and they took our bags and asked us our names, and they gave us a little card and walked away, and she goes, "That's the magic I was talking about." And I went, I get it.
Right. Because otherwise it's just a hotel, right? It's just an amusement park.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never been to Universal, but I'm looking forward to seeing if there really is a big difference. Because it's like Apple and Android, Ford and Chevy. I mean, everyone, they're both good. We know maybe one's better for us, but honestly, they're both good.
We went to Universal for a weekend trip one time, and I had that this is going to be horrible expectation because it's not Disney, and they were just as nice and just as open, and
good.
It was good. We our Sapphire Falls, I think, is where we stayed. Yeah, that's where we stayed, and they had people out front that met you, and the cool thing they have covered parking, so it wasn't hot when you got it back to go home. It was nice and cool inside your car, and it was nice. But yeah, you have that mentality of, is it going to be just like Disney? Knowing that they're 2 separate companies, you're still going to pit them against each other.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I want Universal. I want the new park to do well because, in my opinion, business begets business begets business. And the more you draw people to Orlando, especially like foreign visitors, they're going to come for both. They're not just going to come like I do for Disney or one or the other. Mm-hmm. They're going to come for 2 weeks. They're going to spend lots of money at both. So both parks can keep pushing each other higher, right? That's what competition does.
It does.
I can't imagine what the prices would be at Disney without Universal there.
Oh,
it would probably be 10 grand a ticket.
Oh yeah.
Not literally, but yeah.
Something else I thought about, and people think I'm crazy when I say this. When I get in my car and I start driving and my vacation begins, the drive to Florida is something I look forward to.
Yeah.
And, you stop at south of the border and did your video. We stop at Buc-ee's, Palm Coast, Daytona. I told my wife, I said, we come down, we need to go by the racetrack and do a video at the racetrack and they have a you can get in a pickup truck and they'll drive you around the racetrack and talk about the racetrack. I said we need to start doing things like that on our way down.
I've stood on turn 4 and tried to walk up it.
That ain't gonna happen.
Nope. So cause I used to live in Daytona, I had a restaurant there, and when I did, we did a party for the Daytona 500. So I got to watch the time trials from the Bud Blimp.
Oh, cool!
Which was pretty cool.
Yeah,
and then, and I don't follow Miller Lite Guide number 2.
Rusty Wallace.
Yes. So they brought the car to our restaurant. And then he came in and they had this like half a crew pit thing where we got to change tires.
Oh, nice.
And then when everyone was gone and they were closing up, he's like, "Hey, Tater, you want to hear it run?" I'm like, "Sure, man." And they started the car and earthworms came out of the ground.
Oh, yeah.
It was really cool. Like, I'm not a NASCAR fan, but I get it. Like, I would go to a race in and we have a Richmond. We have one not too close.
They're actually where it's there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, and we do the same thing. And so we actually have a tradition that when we get in the car and we leave here, because we drive, and again, we actually go to a couple other places. So it's kind of flying wouldn't work for our whole family on our summer trip. But we play Dean Jones and the Kraft salutes 10 years of Disney. Their 10-year special as John Schneider and the Oak Ridge Boys. But the beginning song is it's Disney World or Bust. And so that's the first thing we hear is them singing this song, "To be active and work on my game." I mean, it's some spectacular 1982, 81 quality TV. It's on YouTube. Look it up. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
It's so cheesy. Oh, Ricky Schneider. No, Ricky Silverspoons. What was his name?
Ricky
Rick
Schneider. Schroeder. That's it. Yep.
John Schneider, who is in there and he sings. And then Ricky Schroeder and Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton plays the bellhop / waiter. I mean, he's the comic relief for the whole thing. It's really awesome.
I have to look it up.
So no, it's funny, and we did not talk about these beforehand, just to see where we all went. But no, that drive, I can't wait. I don't always love to drive home.
No.
And we've started doing it in 2 pieces if we can. So we try to stop. There's a Best Western in Santee that I love.
Yeah, I know exactly what I'm about.
Yep. So we stop there, and I can go walk over and hit golf balls at the range, and then that gives us 6 hours there and 6 hours the next morning. It's pretty easy driving.
Yeah. So for us, I say 6 hours. My wife says 7 hours.
Depends on who's driving.
Depends on who's driving in traffic. We got lucky having the express pass now driving through the middle of Orlando.
Oh yeah,
makes it so much easier. But like my girls, they have this thing. It's license plate bingo. They're bingo.
Oh yeah.
Board. And my wife and my 2 girls, it'll start yelling out license plates at each other, and that takes up a good bit of time. And then, for me, I break it down going down 95. Okay, it's 2 hours to Savannah. It's 2 hours to Brunswick. It's 2 hours to Daytona. It's an hour and a half to Orlando. I kind of break it up, that way. It's just when I know when I'm in the car driving, vacation has started. I
love it. Well, that's 5, and I had a couple honorable mentions. Food. That could be 3 of them. But I mean, the food there, it is not just heat lamp burgers and cold French fries. I mean, they're, again, 3 of the best meals of my life were at Disney, and a lot of the other ones that we look forward to are amazing. It's the only place that I can wear a lot of Disney stuff and not look out of place. So if I wear a Mickey Mouse shirt around town here, sometimes I get some looks. Although, to be fair, we have it. To be fair, I don't know what that means. To be fair, we have a lot of military in our town, and I know 2 active duty SEAL team guys who are huge Disney nerds. So it makes me feel a little less emasculated when I think about, this guy's a trained killer and he still loves Disney.
Yeah.
And I guess I put this down, but I guess it just goes back into consistency, is that I always have fun there. Yeah. I always have a good time, even when I'm not having a good time.
Yeah. One of the things my wife brought up, and I had it was one of mine I didn't share, was just my kids' enjoyment. Just seeing them have fun and seeing my wife have fun. At first, she was not a Disney person. She thought I was crazy. And as the years have gone on, she'll send me Facebook messages and Instagram posts, and she's probably got 60 pairs of ears, and she's hey, she understands why I like it now. But just seeing my kids, and when we tell them we're going, they still get excited about it. It's not, oh, we're going to Disney again. It's like, when we're leaving, when we're going, where we're staying. So
well, and that's something I was worried about, right? Is going behind the curtain. So trying to make this a job, and I am trying to make it at least feed itself. And I want to do a good job. I want the YouTube channel to be good. I want this to be good, which is why we brought Andrew in, because this is much better than me just sitting here talking. But would I not like it as much if I had to do it? I mean, I always tell people things. If you have to do it, it's not going to be fun. But leaving last Friday, I was just as excited as I was the month before. And I'm just excited now about next Thursday leaving and heading down with my girls. I cannot wait. I'm still as much of a little kid about it, even going once a month. So I know that wouldn't work for everybody, but I can tell you, for me, I'm a year into this and I'm still having a blast.
That's awesome. One day I'll get there.
All right. Was that all your list? Did we get everything for you?
That's everything for me.
Well, let's let everybody get back to Halloween. Thank you for watching. Tune in next week. We're going to have a surprise guest, Andrew. And he's got a topic that I'll let you know, and we can do a little research, but I have a feeling he's an expert, and we'll school both of us on this topic.
Cool. Can't wait.
So join us every week, Thursday-ish. There may be some times when I can't make a Thursday or Andrew can't, and maybe we will move to Wednesday or record somewhere different. We'll figure it out.
Yep.
Next week is the 7th. I may be on the road. It depends. So we'll figure it out. But we are going to have a cool guest. And then check out Andrew on Mouse Gears for
Cars and Disney.
So good. Such a great name. I wish I'd thought of it. And then check out my YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook. I'm trying to win all the socials. And I really don't have a plan or know what I'm doing. So the podcast is the most organized thing I've ever done in my life, honestly. To even think about something before it happens is unusual for me. So I'm winging it along. I think I am going to put out this horrible video this week, and then check out Sunday night. I think I'll have Lou's Tip Top Club video up, which should be pretty fun. But the one I'm putting out is so bad. It's on my phone. The audio's bad. It's not good. But hey, just a little peek into my life. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week here on But Mostly Disney.
See ya.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good night.
All right. Well, we're off, right?
Yeah. Nope. Still says live.